Well, hello, my fellow Americans and fellow Christians, and thank you for joining me for another day of the Word of the Lord here in the United States of America. I do not think most Americans realize what a dangerous period of time we are living in. The Middle East is about to bring changes to the world no one anticipated. Violence is escalating throughout different countries in our civilization on a scale experts never thought possible, often just over misjudgments on the part of some parties. Everybody seems to be on edge, as morality, decency, and virtue is downtrodden by the dictatorship spirit that is forcing itself upon all of mankind. We even here in the United States are watching shadows of totalitarianism of war surface as answers to the world's ailments. What is extremely frightening to me is the scripture that says, "They that lift up the sword shall perish by the sword." The other side of the coin is the comfort through the scripture that says, "Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall have peace." America keeps feeding the war machine, and it just may become our downfall. The great empire of Egypt fell because it kept investing in foreign wars. How often we do hear that axiom, history repeats itself. Perhaps this is one historical lesson our lawmakers should pay attention to. War is not necessary, but peace is, if our civilization is to survive. Peace is missing today in the world and from our political scene. Scarcely anybody talks about peace. You would think the religious community would be talking about peace, but they are so fixated on the end times, they see only destruction in the future. The news media and politics today hardly promote peace, but they are both filled with the air of war. Their constant ventures are with argument, opinion, prude, the obnoxious, indecency, indifference, malice, contention, false accusations, contempt, just to name a few. This is a hard pill to swallow when the average or common citizen is only interested in making an honest living and living peacefully among men. There is an alarming connection between the importance given to the news, politics, and the frequency of war. In any era of history where politics is the major interest, war is the major consequence. Since the 1920s and the advent of the news media, the psychological stress is not on the cultivation of a stabilized society, but the influence of civil strife, discord, and war. We see this in complete form today in the news media and politics of our country. War coming to the shores of America is inevitable unless we change our present course. It is important that we begin to see the evil tendencies we seem to be following through war. Truth and morality are essentials for peace. When these virtues are not present, war becomes a logic which we are witnessing today in the world. The slaughter and bloodshed in other parts of the world has desensitized all Americans and given them a false hope that they are untouchable. Again, the scripture given to us by the good Lord is not spoken in vain. They that lift up the sword shall perish by the sword. The scriptures also say he suffered under Pontius Pilate. This is a prophecy of the United States if we continue to be an omnipotent warring state. America will go down in its final days through the power politics of war, unless our country returns to righteousness, truth, and honor through peace. Being a Christian, I can only mention that the survival of our nation or any nation is through the subjugation of all things good by the sovereign and providential hand of God, the Prince of Peace, Jesus Christ. St. Augustine said, "Peace is the tranquility of order," which means there is no oppression from without, but reason, conscience, and faith is within. This is the common sense basis of peace in the world and what our good Lord promotes in the soul of man. The return of man to standards and ideals of living, ethics of morality and virtue is a condition of more peaceful times in our world. When America stops fighting wars and stops fighting within among one another, we shall see prosperity and economics, joy and laughter return. Ultimately, we will have peace with God, love of our neighbors, and a heart of peace for all of mankind. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.